All right, guys, welcome back. I hope you did really well on those vocabulary words. Let's get ready to read the chapter. All right, so chapter 1 in our geology book, and remember, geology is the study of the earth and like the surface of the earth. It studies what's on it and what changes what can change the surface of the earth. So that's what geology is all about. So let's look at the first chapter. Oh, a little too far. All right, so Earth's changing surface. If you lived in Europe during the Middle Ages, the idea that the Earth changes would have seemed crazy. At the time, people believed that mountains, valleys, and other landscape features had always been there. True, rare natural catastrophes sometimes occurred. Earthquakes, for example, shook the ground and triggered landslides. In some places, volcanoes erupted and sent up fountains of lava or red-hot melted rock. However, people viewed these catastrophes as punishments from God, not as the earth changing. And I'm sorry, guys, you can hear a siren outside. It'll pass in just a second. There must be a fire somewhere. Okay. All right, so this first page here talked about how people back in the Middle Ages never really thought that the earth changed. They thought those mountains and valleys and rivers and things had just always been there, and they would always be there. They never thought they would change. But people today know that that's not true, because geology, where they've studied, they've learned that that's not true. And I bet you probably knew this, but even back in the Middle Ages, they didn't even believe that the earth was round, did they? They thought that the earth was flat. Yeah, they couldn't imagine that the earth was actually round because they thought that meant people would fall off of it. They didn't realize there was gravity that holds us on. So they just thought the world was just flat because, they couldn't see that it was a ball. So they didn't believe anything about the earth changing or anything. They just thought it was the way it was, and it's always been that way. But we found out that that's not necessarily true. So let's look at the next page. During the 1400s, 1500s, and 1600s, which would be the end of the Middle Ages, that's when the Middle Ages ended, the 1400s, European explorers set sail on voyages of discovery. They found new continents and islands. Map makers created the first relatively accurate maps of the entire world. When people studied these maps, they noticed something interesting. Several continents looked as if they might fit together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. Take a look at a world map or a globe and see how the eastern edge of Africa, which is right here, looks as the eastern edge of South America looks as if it fits into the western edge of Africa. If you could somehow push these two continents together across the Atlantic Ocean, their edges would match up, and you can kind of see how that looks like it would fit right in there, doesn't it? Yeah. Does anybody know what that's called, where people believed that all of the continents used to all be connected? Yeah, they found out that that's probably true. All of these continents you can see used to be all smushed together and be touching. And this chapter that we're going to read is about how they figured that out in some of the things. So I'm going to let you finish reading this chapter all on your own. I know that you don't have your book, but remember, if you go to the school and you ask Miss Tara, she'll go over to my room and get you one of your books. If you don't want to do that, that's okay too, because remember, you can log into ClassLink and you can get into your book and read it right there. But I'm going to ask you to finish reading chapter 1, so it goes all the way to right there. That's the end of chapter 1. So you finish reading about chapter 1. And there's a little video that you're going to watch that also kind of tells you some things about how the continents used to be together and all the reasons that maybe we know that. and be ready to talk about this tomorrow, okay? We're going to have a live class tomorrow and be able to talk about what we've learned in chapter 1, okay? All right. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow so we can talk about what we learned. Bye, guys.